Hello and welcome to another death-defying edition of Great Escapes. There are some people who just love to go faster than everyone else, and I'm one of them. But whether you race on land or water, the greater the speed, the greater the danger when things go wrong. At the International Hot Boat Championship in Arizona, a relative newcomer to powerboat racing, Ralph Padilla, challenges the world champion Ron Braxma. It's a head-to-head. The boat reaches an incredible 220 miles an hour, then disintegrates around him without warning. Within seconds, Padilla is paddling on the surface, shocked but unhurt. An amazing escape. The latest protective cockpits have saved his life.
Well, the capsule's done not only just for fuel racing, it's done a whole bunch for all of drag boat racing. You know, you sit in an enclosed cockpit with an F-16 fighter windshield at the top of you. It makes the sport extremely safe. We've had crashes this year. The guys get out and walk away. You know, you're not seeing no fatalities, no major injuries whatsoever. And, you know, when you can have a sport like that where nobody's getting hurt, that's just spectacular.
Equally spectacular was another Speed Freak's attempt to impress his friends. Carl Ruth is a veteran drag racer. He built this 1956 Ford replica in his garage at home. Presumably, he'd checked every last nut and bolt before getting behind the wheel. Even so, the car's first race is about to become its last. Why Carl's homemade car should have blown itself to bits remains a mystery. But there's no doubt his survival was due to his many years of racing experience. One thing's for sure, before its second outing, there's a lot of work to be done. The sailor's motto, any port in a storm, is common sense really. Unless the port is a small coastal town in Korea, and the storm is a tropical typhoon. If you suffer from seasickness, look away for the next bit. The power of this typhoon as it hits the coastline is totally devastating. Ships weighing thousands of tons bob out of control like toys. Crewmen cling on for dear life. The raging waves snatch the tiring crewmen. Then, against impossible odds, onlookers rush forward to try and save them with no thought for their own safety. It's at times like this people discover hidden strengths. Within the normally safe harbour, huge ships flounder onto the rocks. The sailors must choose, stay on board their sinking ship or jump. A sailor films the unfolding drama as two ships collide and one of them sinks. Against the odds, a line is attached to a boat. A brave rescuer defies the waves and climbs aboard. One by one, the crew are hauled to safety. The relief and joy of getting their feet back on dry land is overwhelming. When the storm has passed, it's time to count the cost of the destruction. The lesson learned is simple. Never underestimate the forces of nature.
Oh, look at there. There's
The Goodry family learned their lesson the hard way when they were taking a lakeside fishing holiday. Bob Goodry was recording every carefree moment of their summer break when the sky darkened and they realised they were witnessing the birth of their very own tornado.
Look at this, Bob. You got your first Gull Lake tornado going on over here. Check it out.
Eh?
Check it out. See,
Oh my
you get your cloud movement that way, and you get your cloud movement this way. Watch your little funnel clouds to spin out of that gray area.
Look at their funnels. You can see it coming over the lake now. It's just shooting. It's just totally shooting.
Oh, look at the trees by the highway.
All right, look at there.
Look at the highway trees.
Oh,
Power line just went out.
power line just went out. Look at them. Power lines. I'm getting every power line out. It is incredible. It's coming across the lake right now.
The tornado gets closer and closer, but the only twister Bob's ever seen before was in the movies.
Yeah. It's coming right at the house here. We're going to have to go in a minute. It's either that or do or die. It is incredible.
At this point, most people would drop the camera and run. Not Bob Goodry. This is a photo opportunity too good to miss.
I'm 10 feet from it. I'm 10 feet from it. Get away from the windows. The tree just flew over. Look at the tree. Look at the house. Get away from the windows. Get away. Get away. Get away. Get away. Get away. Where's everybody? Where's everybody? Where is everybody?
Though the tornado has already passed, the shock remains. Time to check the garden.
Well, this is after the tornado. This is what it did to the yard. It's the house. You see trees just smashed it. Smashed the total roof. It's just devastating through the whole house. The house is a total wreck.
Their fishing boats are still on the lake. The pier isn't.
Look at his motor. He came up here to have fun. Look at there. He's just sickened.
In just a few moments, their holiday home is smashed inside and out. Mature trees are toppled and snapped like matchsticks. But the Goodry family are completely unharmed.
Where are all the people going?
Get away from the windows! Get away! Get away! Get away! Get away! Get away!
Like most people, I'm proud of my garden. I like to think it's neat and tidy. A chap called Oscar Benavida had a wonderful garden too, until his pet dog disappeared under it. That's when he decided to move heaven and earth to find her. Oscar's Cocker Spaniel, Ali, has been missing for 8 days, and Oscar is really worried.
Hey, puppy, puppy!
Little Ali was chasing a rabbit which popped down a hole in a network of old drainage pipes. First his neighbours, then the fire brigade joined in the hunt. It called for some serious adjustments to the landscape. The elegant garden was about to become a memory. 4 massive holes later, and all they'd found were broken pipes. Ali was nowhere to be seen.
We started digging by the neighbor's house, and the dog would just keep on running.
It's now the evening of the 8th day, and Oscar hears barking below.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
Oh, Bob.
Come on,
Bob.
come on, Alan, baby.
Come on. Yeah.
At the end of the very last pipe, Ali emerges. The hunt is over, the garden destroyed. There's no sign of the rabbit, but at least Oscar's a happy bunny.
I'm happy, that's all. Maybe I can sleep at night now.
Very clean water. I'm going to have to drop it here.
A 3-month-old black bear cub has been picked up in Albuquerque, having wandered in from the wild mountains. Locals know that his anxious mother will be looking for him.
Usually when a bear loses their cub, they usually come back to the same area where the baby came down.
And here's Mummy Bear, coming to town for her boy. Failing to find Junior on the streets, she shins up an electricity pole for a better look. She's pretty scared and won't come down. The power company can't switch off the mains, and they're worried she'll electrocute herself. So, they fire a tranquilizer dart into her backside. Mum gets sleepy, nods off, and falls 30 feet to the ground, catching the transformer box on the way.
tranquilizer we give them is a muscle relaxer. Therefore, when the bear would fall out, it wouldn't have the rigidity in its muscles, less likely to break a bone or anything. It's just going to kind of go limp.
She's carted off to the zoo where her cub is waiting. The zoo vet takes a closer look and finds her injuries are more serious than first thought. Electric burns on her hind legs.
Yeah, we got to anyway. We just can't predict at this time how it's going to go. I would say, however, from our experience in the past in working with bears, we find that they're excellent wound healers. But the nature of the wounds indicates that they're very serious, and so it's going to be a touch and go.
2 months later, her wounds are almost healed. Mother and son convalesce in a first-class suite at the zoo. Soon there's no reason to keep them any longer. It's time to go home to them thar hills. And they all lived happily ever after.
It's slow, real slow, real slow.
Coming next, the man who's about to be buried alive under 7 tons of wet cement. Welcome back. What's your ultimate nightmare? For lots of people, it's being buried alive. Well, stuntman Bill Shirk has chosen to be buried alive under 7 tons of wet cement. The last guy to try it died in the attempt.
Chained and padlocked. I will then be set in the casket.
Bill Shirk has nothing to hide, so he's using a perspex coffin.
There's more than just one reason, of course. This is the 66th anniversary of the death of Harry Houdini.
He's about to be shackled and buried under wet cement. The obvious question is, why?
I just want to prove to the world that I'm the #1 escape artist in the world, bar none.
It's been raining heavily and the soil is very wet and very heavy. But the show must go on.
Don't drop me. They drop me, the show's over. But at least I'm alive. Hey!
We can see Bill in his see-through coffin, and he can see us. But how strong is it?
It's slow, real slow, real slow.
It should be dust to dust. Instead, it's mud on mud, with a topping of wet cement. Bill's business partner is in radio contact, and it's all going well. Then, disaster. The coffin caves in. He's in big trouble. How long can a man survive with 7 tons of cement on top of him? Then, away from the grave, shows he's still alive. Help me! His body may be worse for wear, but you just can't keep a good stuntman down.
I want to apologize to Houdini. I wasn't successful, and I didn't succeed in the escape, but I did get away with my life, which I consider a lucky one. I could hear people trying to dig, but hell, I didn't know where I was. And just thank God he spared my life on this one, and it'll be a while before I'll do one of these, I'll tell you that.
We all remember the thrill of our first trip to the fun fair. Well, our next clip shows a young girl who'll certainly never forget hers. It's all the fun of the fair at Myrtle Beach in South Carolina. Suddenly, 12-year-old Scarlett Rogers tumbles forward out of her seat on the Ferris wheel. A holidaymaker just happens to be filming. Scarlett's fall is broken by the wires and she hangs by one leg 70 feet above the horrified crowd. Within minutes, 2 fairground workers climb up the wheel, hoping desperately she won't fall any further. They untangle her legs, but she's so terrified she can't climb down. Night falls, and she's still there. As long as she won't get down, no one else can move either. 2 hours after her fall, young Scarlett is coaxed slowly down to the ground, her terrifying ordeal over. Miraculously, her only injury is a broken arm and cuts to her legs. The only lasting damage is a major fear of heights. The biggest thrill of them all must be realizing there's something wrong with your aeroplane while you're still in the air. A thrill pilot Jerry Eddins could do without. He's about to land his plane when he discovers the undercarriage won't come down.
Yeah, Jim's going up to guide him in, or go up alongside of him and see if he can determine any problem with landing gear. Seems like
Jerry's in big trouble. On board are his wife, his young son, and his in-laws on their way back from Disney World. Another pilot, Jim Moser, has gone up to try and see if he can help.
78X, I'm coming around on your right side. I do a lot of formation work, so don't worry about me. You just go ahead and fly, and I'll be looking from back here, okay?
Jerry tries stopping his engine to bleed the hydraulic lines and hopefully ease the pressure on the landing gear.
Tell you what, hold just what you got, and I'm going to pull in underneath you and take a look, all right?
It doesn't work and fuel is running low. His only option is a belly flop landing.
Sit back and relax now. Normal landing.
Jerry and his family brace themselves. They're on a wing and a prayer.
Don't touch anything. Keep your wings level. Keep your wings level. Real nice. Beautiful. Keep your wings level. Hold what you got.
A perfect belly landing.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Jerry is too shocked to speak. He can't believe he's made it. Jim Moser is full of praise for his flying skills.
Seems to me he did a real good job. His name is Jerry. I just met him a minute ago, and I don't know him. But it's the kind of thing when you have your family on board and everything, it's easy to get excited. He handled it, you know, really, really well.
Here's another holiday trip that's turned to disaster. A family cruiser is stuck on a raging weir. Local rescuers are aware the situation is potentially much more dangerous than it looks.
I've got to keep going. These people need help. I've got to help them. I've got to get out there.
The river wash downstream could sweep them all away. Struggling against the force of water, rescuers managed to pull a female passenger from the boat onto the wall above. The boat owner, John Fish, weighs over 21 stone, and he's just too heavy to haul up. Two deputy sheriffs maneuver a rescue boat above the falls, but the current pushes it towards the edge.
Christ, that boat's going. That boat just went over.
Now the two deputies are in the river as well. They're running out of options. Help arrives from above. The pilot of a TV news helicopter filming the drama comes to the rescue. He's a Vietnam veteran. This would prove to be one of his most dangerous flying missions ever. The blades must remain absolutely level. Touch the water and they'll all be killed. As he climbs aboard, John's massive weight tips the chopper sideways. But he's safe.
That water was rushing so fast that I don't know what else they could have done. And I weigh 300 pounds. I mean, two of them tried getting me up the concrete, and they couldn't get me up. So then they brought in the helicopter and brought me out. I think they did everything they possibly could. I'm very lucky.
Within minutes, the chopper is back to save the rescuer left in the cruiser, but only just in time. As he's lifted to safety, the boat suddenly shifts. The deputy clinging to the wall is in real trouble. He's so exhausted by cold that he can't climb up through the water on his own. Only with the help of his colleagues does he finally make it. The woman passenger is now in such a state of shock, she has to be forced into the helicopter.
I think she just didn't think she was going to make it. And I says, you will make it. And she did.
The current sweeps the sinking cruiser downriver. But for the incredible skill of the chopper pilot, this could have been the fate of everyone on board. Even the most careful drivers can't always avoid hitting wild animals. They have a knack of running into the road just at the wrong moment, don't they? Our final clip comes from California, and it's about an accident with a moving and happy ending. Farmer Gene Chaffin has stopped to pick up a freshly killed doe when he realises she's pregnant. He whips out his trusty penknife and performs an instant caesarean. The tiny fawn shows no sign of life, but Gene knows about resuscitating baby farm animals.
Come on, babe. Come on, babe. Come on, guy. Come on, guy. Come on, I see that little... Look at this. Come on.
Almost at once, he's rewarded with a small movement.
He's breathing. He's breathing. All right.
The fawn is very weak, barely alive. The only thing to save him now is milk from his dead mother. But the baby hasn't got enough strength to suckle.
Yeah, squeeze out a little bit more milk there. No. Just a little bit. There you go.
The rescuers improvise with a bottle top and the fawn immediately responds. With each mouthful, he gets stronger.
Oh yeah, she's swallowing it. Yeah. She's swallowing it. She is swallowing it. It's beautiful.
That's a good sign.
That's a good sign.
It's a classic tale of the Good Samaritan. Thanks to Farmer Gene, the fawn is on the road to recovery. Not even Bambi was this lucky. You'll be pleased to hear the fawn was named Freeway and now roams happily with the farmer's cows. Drive carefully, see you soon for more Great Escapes.